Hi everybody, my name is Ananya Wadkar. I'm going to take you through a few tips and a few things that I personally practice as a singer, and I hope that this is helpful for you. I'm not sure who's on the other side of this live, and I'm not sure who it is that I'm catering to. I'm sure we're going to have a very varied audience today, where we have people also who sing. We also have people who are not singers, but they're bathroom singers and they like to sing just for themselves. And I can see Mohit here. Hi Mohit. He's a friend of mine who's an amazing artist. You should check him out on Instagram. His name is Mohit Trehan. And so I'm not sure which part of this is going to be catering to you specifically, but I have tried to curate something that will help all the people that are here. And in the end, I will sing something for you also. Hi Sushmita. It's so nice to see people joining. It's really nice. I think I'll wait for 30 seconds so that more people can be here when we start. Hi Pramila Miss. Okay. So what I'm going to begin with is what your practice, your daily practice should contain. I prefer practicing in the morning because I feel like it's something that my mother told me, was that you should start your day with what you want to do the whole day. And so I'm very used to practicing in the morning, so I get up at about 6:45 and I have a bath and then start practice. And early in the morning, typically your voice is very, very deep because you've just slept and you've just woken up. So because it's deep, we do something called kharaj. So in Indian classical music specifically, kharaj is given a lot of importance. And it is also something that, I mean, frankly, no matter what type of music you learn, kharaj is very useful. I'll explain what kharaj is. Kharaj is basically practicing lower notes. So in Indian classical music, obviously you have sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa, and then you have lower than sa, so you go sa ni dha pa ma, and you practice the lower octave of whatever sur you're practicing in. So the lower octave is basically known as kharaj. And why we practice kharaj is, to put it very simply, if the base of your building is strong, your entire building is strong. If the base is weak and is not stable, then there's no guarantee about the building. And so, very simply put, kharaj ensures that your base is strong, and when your base is strong, you can also sing at a higher pitch very easily. Although it sounds very weird, but we were always told since our childhood that, you know, when you if you want to sing high notes, practice your low notes properly. So kharaj is basically that. It's the practice of your lower notes, and it ensures that your higher notes don't sound weak, because it gives you that base, it gives you that strength to sing your higher notes. So for example, if I had to sing da, now my voice has a certain amount of projection when I sing that note, but if somebody did not practice kharaj, there's a good chance that they would probably sing that note as da or da. It would be dwindling because your base is not strong, and so you're not able to push with your stomach. When I talk about the breathing techniques, I will tell you about the importance of pushing from your stomach. But although in Western, people also use this part of their voice where they sing da, da. It's good to know how to do that, but when you're singing songs that need power and that need energy and you have to hit a da very loudly, you want to have a good bass, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to do that. So one important aspect of your daily practice should be kharaj ka riyaz, which is practice of your lower notes. Another thing that I like to do, and another thing that I have been asked to do by my teacher, is sustaining and holding long notes. So for example, if you're singing sa re ga ma pa, if this is the scale that you're singing in, then you would want to do sa and hold it for a long time, and then also do your other notes. So you do re and you keep holding that note for as long as your breath lasts. What this does is it will increase stability in your voice, so your voice won't be shaky like mine is right now because I'm nervous, but your voice basically won't be shaky. It also helps you improve pitching because you're obviously holding one particular note for a long time, and although you need to train your ears also very well to know if you're going off key, this will eventually help you also improve your pitching because you will be holding one note for a long time, and so it won't be a problem when you're singing songs and someone tells you that you have to sing an alap or you have to sing a particular word for a longer period on the same note. You won't have so much of a problem doing that. So another thing that you want to add to your practice is long notes and holding long notes. Another thing that professional singers like to do, although not a lot of them do this, but it's something that is very helpful, is practicing vowels. So when you're singing typically in a recording or on stage, you don't want to have pronunciation problems. You don't want to have people tell you that, we didn't understand what you were singing. So you want to make sure that your pronunciations are fine, and also want to make sure that when you sing certain words, you're not falling back because you haven't practiced how to throw your voice while you're pronouncing a certain word. So another thing that they do and that we like to tell our students to do is practicing your a, e, u, and even So these are typically sounds that you want to practice, and in Indian classical music, one of the main things that we practice is alankars. So they're basically scales, if I may put it that way. So sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. This is something we practice. So when you're doing the a part, the akar part, what we also do is we do So you're also practicing your vowels. So and then we also hum. So you do So all this helps you ensure that no matter what word you have to pronounce, you won't have difficulties in pronouncing any word. And coming back to alankars and paltas, that is something that we like to practice in Indian classical music, that we like to practice a lot in Indian classical music. Alankars and paltas are basically like scales. Alankars are, we explain to our students that alankars are like ornaments. So, sa re ga ma pa ma pa ni dha ni sa ni dha ni dha pa ma ga re sa. This is an alankar. And then paltas and alankars are very similar. I won't go into the detail about that, but alankars and paltas are something we do. So they're basically patterns of notes that you keep repeating. And Indian classical music is very rigorous practice. So you probably heard that it takes years for people to master Indian classical music and any art form for that matter. But in Indian classical music, you will see a lot of this happening where you're repetitively singing one thing. So that is what alankars and paltas are. You keep singing one particular thing repeatedly, and you sort of start off at a slow speed, and then you increase the speed. And people like to boast and show off and brag about what speed they can do an alankar or a taan at. So basically, you've practiced it so much that now even at a higher speed you can sing it perfectly well, is what they're bragging about. So another thing that you want to add to your practice is probably alankars and paltas. So just recapping the whole thing, one of the most important things is kharaj. And another reason why we practice early in the morning is because your voice is already deep, so it becomes easier for you to do kharaj. And you want to do your kharaj ka riyaz very smartly. If you force your voice and you can't hit a note and you forcefully try to hit that note, it becomes a problem, because then your voice gets strained and awaz baith jata hai, as we call it in Indian music. But you don't want to stress too much on your on a note that you can't hit. Go easy, it takes time, it's okay. So just you have to practice kharaj very correctly. You cannot be doing sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa, and a lot of people do that. They do that and they strain their voice, and then you can't sing for 2 days basically. So you don't want to do that. So practice your kharaj very correctly. You want to do long notes. You want to focus on practicing your vowels. And of course, through this whole process, you have to make sure that you're not going off key, because you don't want to practice the wrong thing, right? We've always been told that practice does not make you perfect. Perfect practice makes you perfect. So you don't want to practice the wrong thing and strain your voice, or get used to singing off key and things like that. So you want to practice correctly. Also, that is also very important. Moving on, so I've explained to you what your practice should contain. This is again very, very brief. I'm not going into the details where I'm showing you, let's say, what to do, or how to do what to do. I'm just telling you briefly what I like to follow personally. I'm going to move on to breathing techniques. Again, all this is very, very brief. I'm not going into too many details about any of these things. Breathing techniques, I personally have learned a lot of breathing techniques from whatever little Western influence I have experienced. I've never learned Western music, but I've attended like a 1-hour session, and I've also gone to a trainer who talks about breathing techniques. So something that has been common, and also when I was learning from my father, although in Hindustani classical music, breathing technique is not spoken about much. It's not something that is focused on at all actually, which is something that I would personally like to change, and so I talk about it in my classes. But breathing technique is given a lot of importance in Western music, is what I understand. And so I would like to share a few things that I have learned. One of the main things is that, when you tell kids, just breathe in, typically to show you that they are breathing in, they do this. So they'll do, and that's wrong. You're not supposed to breathe in that way at all when you're singing. And if you notice, it is not very natural, it is not very humane to breathe in like that. If you look at a baby, a small baby, a newborn baby, if you look at that baby while it's asleep, you will notice that there is absolutely no movement in the baby's shoulder. You'll only see its stomach going up and coming down. So also, if you look at a dog or a cat or any pet that you have at home, you will see, if you see your dog sleeping, I have a dog, so I see my dog sleeping, you will not see any movement in their shoulders. But to just give you a more relatable example, because it's the same species, if you see a baby, a human baby sleeping, you will not see its shoulders move at all. So I think that establishes the fact that this is not a very natural way in which we breathe. Scientifically, if you look at it, our lungs expand when we breathe in. Our diaphragm pushes downwards because our lungs expand, and so your stomach should go out. So when you breathe in, when you're singing, you obviously breathe in through your nose initially. Western technique tells you to breathe in through your nose all the time, although I have noticed and experienced that when you sing Hindi songs, it's not very easy to breathe in through your nose all the time. I won't name the person, but somebody who I think we all idolize, in who is a humongous singer. I think it's very clear who I'm talking about. She told my father, and then also my father told us, that when you're singing on a microphone in a studio, you don't want, so earlier when we didn't have advanced technology and songs had to be sung in one go, you couldn't do much with a song after it was sung. So you would not want people to hear you breathing in between two lines or between two words. So she had advised him that you breathe in touching your tongue to the tip, so to your palate, like that, and then breathe in, because it makes lesser sound than that. So when you breathe in like that, it sounds like a gasp, but when you touch your tongue to the palate and you breathe in, your tongue sort of blocks the air. It doesn't block, but it sort of reroutes it, and so it doesn't make too much noise. So again, breathing in when you're singing Hindi songs may be difficult to breathe through your nose, but Western music suggests that that's the ideal way to breathe, because your nose has a lot of mechanisms that help the air become warmer, purer when it reaches your windpipe. But again, Indian music we've never spoken too much about breathing, and also when you sing Indian music, I've seen very little scope of breathing through your nose. But the science is that when you breathe in, at least when you're singing, your stomach should go out, and because your diaphragm pushes downwards, and then when you sing after that, you should try as much as you can to keep your stomach intact, because that helps your breath last longer. So that's one breathing tip. And another thing is, when you sing, you should try and imagine that there's like an opening at the back of your throat, because that helps you project more. So it's got more to do with your mind, but this is something I've learned. So when you imagine that there's an opening at the back of your throat, or someone also said that when you yawn, you feel a lot of space at the back of your head. So if you imagine and if you try to feel that space while you're singing, it can help you sing and project more. So that's another thing. Another exercise that you can do for projection, I have a problem with projection. I'm not ashamed to share that, but I have a problem with projection in terms of the fact that my voice is a soft voice. So projecting my voice was a challenge for me. I'm working on it now. Something that you can practice is it's called that exercise. You push from your stomach as much as you can, and you want to feel your lips vibrate. So if you want to, you can try doing it with me right now. You hold a note and you basically do you want to feel a vibration on your lips. You want to feel a little bit of vibration also in your chest. Another thing that they do is so you, like if people have a problem pronouncing s directly, you can try to say snake but then not say the whole word, and you just do and you hold that, and you hold it till your breath lasts, and that should improve your projection. So typically before you start your practice, you can do these exercises where you do and do this for few minutes, and then you can do the exercise that I just said. Another thing, so I'm going to talk about two more things before I sing 2 lines for you guys, because that's what I'm told I'm supposed to do. I'm going to talk about finding your voice, which has been quite the challenge for me, because I have a very husky voice, and sometimes when you sing, people want you to sing bold, and they want you to sing not loudly, but they want you to open your voice and sing. So it's been a challenge finding my voice, because originally I have a very husky voice, but you have to be able to cater to all needs. So one of the tips would be that you sing in a scale in which you're able to sing 3 octaves. So if you start at da da ra 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 ra, that's 3 octaves. So you should also sing in a voice where you're comfortable singing in these in 3 octaves. Sing in a pitch in which you're comfortable singing 3 octaves. Try your level best to keep a constant tone. Again, one of my problems. My voice still does, and earlier it was more, this problem was higher, I would say. I had this crack, my voice would just crack at a point and it would just change after that. It's almost like, I don't know, trying to smoothen out something. That's how much practice it takes. You have to keep singing that particular note, that particular point where your voice cracks, and you have to smoothen it out, and then you will also that will also help you find your voice, because you will understand what voice you sing in when that crack doesn't come, and so you continue singing in that voice. And so try to keep a constant tone. Try your best to not sing in 3 different voices in 3 different octaves. And then again, finding your pitch can be difficult, but randomly just sit down and say, okay, sa, and then if you have a harmonium or a keyboard, if you are singers and if you know how to play a harmonium or a keyboard, or if you have a friend at least who can tell you, find that note on the harmonium or the keyboard, and most often than not that should be the note that you're comfortable singing in. So that's about finding your voice and finding your pitch. Few tips about mic positioning. Although I'm not a professional, from whatever little recordings we do and whatever shows we do, these are a few things that that our gurus have also taught us. You want to avoid singing directly into the mic when you. So I have a mic here. It's not on, but I will tell you. When you have a mic, first of all, something that a sound engineer had once told me is that people tend to hold the mic here. So if you look at a mic, this is where your point of reception, if I may call it that, this is where the sound gets picked up typically. If you hold it here and you look straight and sing, it's not going to pick up that much sound. So you want to hold a mic in front of your mouth, obviously. Something that my father usually does is he'll hold the mic like this and he'll keep his thumb here. So for him, that's the perfect distance, although he has crazily amazing projection. So if he holds a mic here also, it should not be a problem for him. But he does this, and I found that is very effective. So you can do that, although if you feel like your voice is very loud at this distance, you can always move it away, but don't hold a mic here. That's really not, it's pointless. Then you'd be better off just leaving the mic somewhere and coming on stage and singing. Hold it here, hold your mic there. What you want to do when you're singing words like ph, h, or f, where you're sort of blowing out of your mouth, you want to either move your face away a little bit or move the mic away a little bit. Not too much, not this much, not this much. Ideally it should be this much, or if you're moving your mouth away, it should be this much. Again, depending on your projection, I don't have very, very great projection, so if I move my face away, you won't be able to hear me. So depending on your projection, you have to find these things only come out of a lot of experience. Move the mic slightly away. So if you're singing any sound, any song that has the word phir or hasta or words which have h, ph, even sa for that matter, sometimes when you sing sa into a mic, you'll hear like a whistle kind of sound. You want to avoid that because it's not pleasant and because it's not professional. You want to avoid that. So you move the mic away slightly or you move your face away slightly. Either of those should work. Loud sounds, when you're singing higher scales, when you're singing at a higher note, and if you have amazing projection, you want to move the mic away a little bit because otherwise you will get a screeching sound from the speaker. Sometimes the mic picks that up and then you have this ringing sound throughout the entire auditorium. You don't want those things. And typically in a recording studio, if you're singing soft songs like उड़े खोले आसमां में ख्वाबों के परिंदे, you would want to be a little close to the mic because it's a soft, it's a husky, it's a very even when you're singing sensual songs or very, very songs that have a lot of husk, you want to move closer to the mic because you want to make it sound like you're whispering into someone's ear. Very soft romantic songs, you want to go closer to the mic. Open songs, loud songs, lively songs, like if you're singing like a tatada 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 or anything like that, you want to move away from, because Ram ji ki chal dekho, you don't want to be this close to the mic when you're singing that. It'll be very odd, very loud, very unpleasant. So when you're singing songs like that, you want to be slightly away from the mic. When you're singing songs that don't fit into either of these genres, you know, that are not too loud and that are not too soft also, you want to have a decent distance from the mic, because being close to the mic, it reduces the room that you get. The roominess that needs to be in a song, it goes down. So you don't want to be very close to a mic all the time. Of course, on stage singing live is a different ball game altogether. Your mic positioning, your breathing, everything changes there. In a recording studio today, we have the privilege to say ki I want to sing this line again. In a live performance, you cannot sing a line again unless you get a once more. So you have to get it right the first time. But in a recording studio, you don't want to be too close to a mic unnecessarily and be singing a song in some fake whispered voice. You don't want that. So these are few of the things that I thought I would like to share with all of you. I will be taking questions which I have been okay. What is a palta? It's hard to explain, when you've just been told, you're just sitting in a class and you're doing it with your teacher, you eventually come to know what a palta. A palta is basically a set of notes. It can be a pattern of notes or a set of notes that you keep. So it'll have an ascending part to it and a descending part. So just to explain very briefly, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, this is ascending. Sa ni da pa ma ga re sa, this is descending. So just for as an example, a palta is like sa re ga ma sa re ma re ga ma pa re ga ma, and so on. And then while you come down, you do sa ni dha pa sa ni dha pa ma. So that becomes a palta, and it's called a palta because you keep doing it. You keep singing this, so you will keep singing sa re ga ma sa re ga ma pa re ga ma pa da ma pa da ni ma pa da, and then you will also, while coming down, and then you repeat the whole thing. You keep doing it for like about 5-7 minutes. You do one palta, and then you want to do 4-5 paltas like that every day. So again, coming back to practice is about like doing the same thing every day. You have to keep doing the same thing every day, and then you perfect that. Then you move on to something new. You perfect that. You move on to something else. You perfect that. So that's what a palta is. I think another question asked was, please share your daily routine. How many hours do you practice? Okay, I practice for anything close to 1.5 to 2 hours every day. I practice for 1 hour on my own, and then with my father I practice for another, depending on his mood, on how long he wants to sit, but he sits for a minimum of 1 hour. So apart from that, then we also like to go to the studio very often and also sing songs there, because it's as important as it is to practice. It's also important to know how to apply it, because eventually you're doing all this practice so that you can go and sing somewhere. So my father makes it a point to take me to the studio. He's a no auto-tune kind of guy. He does not. They come from an era where auto-tune did not exist, so they had no option. They had to sing in sur. So he's the kind of guy who will not. He will not allow you to put auto-tune onto your songs, and you can't be like, "Arey, it's okay. We'll just auto-tune that bit." He'll just be like, "What are you talking? You can't do that." So. It's very important to get experience in front of the mic. There are singers who can, the first time they sing on a mic, they're singing fabulously. There are people who can't do that. So everyone needs to have experience in front of the mic. It's very, very important, and it's not the same thing to sing well and to sing well on a mic. So you can be singing very well in your bathroom, you can be singing very well in your class, but you may stand in front of a mic and not sing very well because you don't know what the dynamics there are, you don't know what to do in front of a mic. So it's important to get experience in front of a mic as well. So including that, I don't know how many hours I practice, but my actual practice is around like 2 hours at least every day. And when I'm practicing alone, I shared the routine with you. I do kharaj, I do long notes, I do alankars, I do tans and paltas. And with my father, we practice hardcore Indian classical music, where we sing khayal gaiki, and we practice bandishes, and then we improvise and things like that. So that's what we do with my father. But when I'm on my own, when I'm practicing on my own, I like to practice kharaj. I like to practice because I do it early in the morning. That's what works for me. I've noticed that days when I don't practice early in the morning, my voice is just gone. I cannot sing properly the entire day. So I practice early in the morning. I do kharaj, I do long notes and everything that I told you. Miss Pramila is asking how to practice to sing up. Okay, like I said, kharaj is very important. If your bass is not, so another thing that we're asked to do is sing a lower note. So pa pa dha dha ni ni. So you pull your bass upwards. You drag that. So pa, you're pulling that voice, that bass upwards. When you keep doing that, the lower you can go, the higher you can go. Okay, this is what we are always told. The lower you can sing, the higher you can sing. If your low notes are strong and if you have an audible and a strong voice in your lower note, so sa ni dha pa ma ga re, my voice is going there. Also because it's evening, but if you have a good strong voice in your lower notes, you should be able to sing higher notes very well. So that's answering. I'm learning music from Suresh Wadkar's Ajivasan Music Academy. I also teach music here, and I have learned from a lot of teachers and also my aunt, who's the principal here, Srimati Prem Vasant. I've also learned from my mother, Srimati Padma Wadkar, and I'm learning from my father, Dr. Suresh Wadkar. So I learn at Ajivasan Music Academy, and I also teach here. Who's my favorite musician? That's a tricky question. I think people who are full-time into music may not be able to answer that question very well, because we listen to so many people and we listen to so much. We have to listen to so much music. It's very hard for us to pick one person, but I would have to say that I think we all love Lata ji a lot, Lata Mangeshkar. I am a huge fan of my dad's, and that's not only because he's a great singer, it's also because he's a great human being. He's a great teacher. You have a lot to learn from him, not only in terms of music, even in terms of patience and a lot of other things. And I also love my mother a lot, and she's somebody who had similar problems to my, her problems and my problems are very similar. The problems that she faced when she was my age, and so she's somebody I look up to and I relate to a lot. She's always able to help me understand how I can overcome a certain problem. So the voice cracking problem that I told you guys earlier, my mother also had when she was younger. She had a projection problem when she was younger, and she's overcome those things. So I think I have somebody I can relate to and look up to at the same time in my mother, Padma Wadkar. So yeah, and apart from that, of course, we all love Arijit Singh. I think that goes without any question. We love him because he's so versatile. And yeah, I think these are, again, I cannot possibly name all the people that I idolize and I love listening to, but these are few of the people that I do like listening to. And should this, okay, when you sing Indian classical music, it is believed that, so somebody has also asked, should you when you're humming, should that sound also come out of your stomach? When you're singing any Indian classical music, every voice should come out of your stomach is what we're told. If you've watched Bandish Bandits, it's something that has come out recently, you will know that singing in false is not a very accepted thing in Indian classical music. Although now we are opening up, people are opening up to newer kinds of music. But when you sing Indian music, Indian classical music, no voice should come anywhere but from your stomach is what is believed. So yes, when you're humming, you should sing from your stomach. Okay, I think we've answered all the questions, and I've been asked to sing something, so I will just sing a few lines of a song called Fitur, which I really like. What I just did was checking if I'm able to sing the highest note. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is before you start singing a song, make sure you can sing the highest note in that song and the lowest note in that song comfortably in whatever scale you're taking. Zindagi ne ki hai kaisi साजिशें पूरी हुई दिल की जो फरमाइशें मांगी दुआ एक तुझ तक जा पहुंची परवरदिगारा कैसे सुनी तूने मेरी खामोशी परवरदिगारा ये फितूर मेरा लाया मुझको है तेरे करीब ये फितूर मेरा रहमत तेरी ये फितूर मेरा मैंने बदला है तेरा नसीब ये फितूर मेरा रहमत तेरी हो परवरदिगारा. So that was Fitur from the movie Fitur, and I'd like to sing another song that is very, very close to my heart. I don't know if a lot of you have heard it, but I really like this song. It's called Khabo Ke Parinde from Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. So here it goes. उड़े खुले आसमां में ख्वाबों के परिंदे, उड़े दिल के जहां में ख्वाबों के परिंदे। ओहो क्या पता जाएंगे कहाँ, खुले है जो पल कहे ये नजर, लगता है अब है जागे हम। फिक्रे जो थी पीछे रह गई, निकले उनसे आगे हम। हवा में बह रही है जिंदगी, ये हमसे कह रही है जिंदगी। ओहो अब तो जो भी हो सो हो, जो भी हो सो हो, जो भी हो सो हो। Thank you so much for joining this live. I hope that I have made sense and that I have helped you in some way or the other in whatever aspect that I could, and that I hope that you have something to take away from this this session that we've had. And I would like to thank Billabong High International School, my school, for giving me the opportunity to and for remembering me, and also for giving me the opportunity to do this live session. Lots of love to Miss Tahira, who sort of wanted me to sing, and I would say she's the reason I've sung today. Nobody else could have convinced me apart from her. And I would also like to thank Miss Karen and Miss Shweta for helping me out. We had some last minute glitches, but they were absolutely patient with me. So thanks to the entire marketing team and to Miss Tahira for having me, and for Billabong High, of course, for having me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. Bye bye.